always thought that pan searing that, put a bit of butter, a bit of olive oil base, that make it super sexy. This. I love cracking a bit of fresh sea salt in my steak afterwards, nice and salty. Sorry, pops. Tip number 5. Get in your steak. Good day to you all, welcome to Cool Beans TV. My name is Jared. I'm going to tell you the 5 best tips to cooking the perfect steak. Tip number 1, cooking your steak on a grill. I always thought that pan searing that steak, your steak, was the best thing. You put a bit of butter, a bit of olive oil, a bit of garlic, maybe some thyme, you baste that, make it super sexy, make it, get it groovy going, which is great and all. By all means, I still do that. But if I have an opportunity to do it on the grill, I do that instead. I found that you can either get a nice flavor from there, or it makes it very tender. Tell you what, if you do a fillet on a braai or a barbecue, it'll be good. It'll be tender, my friend. So yeah, I'm not telling you to stop cooking your steaks in a pan. I'm just telling you, if you do have the opportunity, do it on a grill. Up next, tip number 2. Season your steak before you cook it. Please! And I know a lot of you dads out there going, oh, this. I love cracking a bit of fresh sea salt in my steak afterwards, nice and salty. Sorry, pops. Pre-seasoning your steak basically helps dry out the outside so it forms a better crust. So please, season your steak afterwards. It also means that it has more time for the steak to absorb the salt, so that when you're cooking your steak and then you eat your steak, you taste a flavorful steak. You don't just taste a steak with salt. You will taste a tasty steak. Try to say that 3 times fast. Now keep in mind that this rule doesn't always apply, because if you have a fucking monster steak that's this thick, if you just season the outside, then the whole surface area on the inside is going to be a bit bland. So what you do is, if you have a humongous monster truck steak, you season it on the outside, you cook it, you slice it, then you can put a bit of nice salt on that center, if you know what I mean. If you get my theory, then blink one. Keep on watching, as the last tip's definitely the most important. Tip number 3, beat your meat. Now, you don't always beat your meat. Listen, if you're struggling to get a tender rump or a tender sirloin, maybe you're getting it from a butcher who doesn't age it properly, maybe it is aged properly, or maybe the temperature of the steak's not right. But listen, if you've tried all these things, give a meat a little bit of a hammer. If you don't have a meat hammer, just use a rolling pin or a brick that you find on your uncle's verd. Wrap that in tinfoil and give it a good whack. Press it back into shape and then you're good to go. Please do not do this with certain cuts like fillet and ribeye. So please, hit that steak like it stole your beans. Tip number 4, how to actually prepare your steak. Now, it's simple, yes, but is it easy? You think it's so easy, don't you? Wrong! Let's say if you have a cut of meat that's on the bone, like a T-bone or a sirloin on the bone. Your meat by the bone cooks much slower than your exposed meat, right? So now you have a nice T-bone, you're excited, you're serving your guests, and then they ask for it to be medium rare, whatever the you serve it to them, they cut the outside, they go, yo, perfection. Then they get to the bone and it's rare. Why? It takes longer to cook this. So what you're going to do is you're going to do a little insertion by the bone, if you know what I mean. You get the T-bones, the sirloin on the bones. You get the bones, you get the tripods. And to add on to this topic, if you have a nice long piece of fat in your steak, make an incision in the fat, break it up a bit so that the fat doesn't all shrink and you got the steak that looks like a fucking smiley. Subscribe! Tip number 5. Get in your steak to room temperature before you cook it. And rest in your steak after you cook it. Take your steak out of the fridge. Let it rest for about an hour or so, roughly depending on the temperature of your house. Place it on a board, place it on a plate, uncovered, just let it be. If flies go on it, let them have fun. I'm joking. It will ensure that there will be even cooking throughout the steak, and your rares and your blues will be nice and warm inside, which will make you feel warm inside and make sure that you won't have the blues. Now that you've cooked your steak, don't be a little piggy and tuck right into straight away. Rest it. Rest it. Please. Resting your steak ensures that all the juices stop running through it, so that as you cut it, all this blood doesn't come out. Let it rest on a board for a few minutes depending on the size. This will ensure that there's less blood on your plates when you cut into it, and less blood on your partner's hands when they try to kill you for making their mash full of red bloody steak juices. Trying to save you here. So I hope you all learned something today. If you did, give a like. If you did, give a sub. If you didn't, then still do both. You will learn. You can do it. Promise. Thank you for watching today. This has been Cool Beans TV. Out.